According to national statistics, almost 500,000 people left the UK in 2024. That's a record number, and it has shocked many experts. To put it in perspective, that's like a whole major city the size of Manchester disappearing in just 1 year. But here's the big question: why are so many people choosing to leave everything behind? Is it the rising cost of living? The sky-high energy bills that drain your bank account? Or maybe it's the constant political problems that seem to never end? The UK, once seen as a land of opportunity, now doesn't seem so inviting. Families, professionals, and even young graduates are all leaving, hoping for a better future somewhere else. But what exactly are they leaving behind? And more importantly, what are they hoping to find? Is it higher salaries, better healthcare, or just a life where they don't have to worry about making ends meet? Like and subscribe, as in this video, we're going to look at 10 surprising reasons why people are leaving and what that means for the UK. 1. Cost of living. Across the UK, the financial strain on households is no longer a concern for only a few, it's become a harsh reality for millions. The cost of living has grown astronomically over the years, with many struggling to keep up, no matter how much they work. Wages, for the most part, have remained stagnant, while the price of necessities like food, heating, and housing has soared. It's a financial balancing act that most people can no longer manage, and for many, it feels like the country is on the verge of slipping into an irreversible financial crisis. The housing market alone is a case in point. Property prices have skyrocketed, with homes in major cities now out of reach for most first-time buyers, even those with decent incomes. Rent prices aren't much better, with many having to spend an alarming proportion of their monthly income on a place to live, leaving little for other essentials. It's not just the cost of housing that has become unbearable. Food prices continue to rise sharply, and even the simplest groceries now cost far more than they did just a few years ago. And it's not just about the everyday expenses that have skyrocketed. More people are finding themselves trapped in debt. Credit card bills, payday loans, and the constant cycle of borrowing to pay bills have created a nation of indebted people. The average citizen's finances are stretched to their breaking point, and the chance of seeing real change anytime soon seems slim. The government seems incapable of addressing the problem, offering no solutions that ease the pain for ordinary working people. More than ever, people are starting to question whether the financial situation is even fixable, or if it's time to seek a future elsewhere. 2. Work-life balance. Work-life balance is something that's becoming increasingly difficult to achieve in the UK, especially for those who are trying to make ends meet in the face of rising costs. Many Britons are caught in a cycle of working longer hours, taking on second jobs, or dealing with the stress of commuting, all in an attempt to keep up with the demands of modern life. The idea of a balanced life, where people can work hard but also enjoy personal time, is slipping away for many, replaced by an overwhelming sense of burnout. The UK's culture of overwork has led to a country where stress and exhaustion are common. People are putting in long hours just to make sure they can cover basic costs, and when the workday ends, they often feel too drained to enjoy time with family or take part in any activities that might help them recharge. This problem is compounded by the lack of flexible working arrangements. While some businesses have embraced remote work and flexible hours, many others still cling to outdated office-based models that don't accommodate the realities of modern life. Commuting has become an increasingly onerous task, with people spending hours each day simply getting to and from work, further eating into the time they could spend with their loved ones or focusing on their personal well-being. And yet, even as people work harder, the results aren't improving. The financial struggles remain, and the demands of work leave people feeling disconnected from their lives outside of the office. There is a growing sense that something must change, whether it's a shift in workplace culture, more flexible job options, or a rethinking of how the economy can support a better balance between work and life. 3. Political instability. The political landscape in the UK has become increasingly unpredictable. And for many, it's hard to ignore the instability that seems to define the nation's leadership today. Over the past decade, the UK has been rocked by political turmoil, and the aftermath of Brexit continues to create uncertainty and division. The inability of the government to unite the country and deal with pressing issues has left many feeling disillusioned with the political system. Brexit, for instance, has divided the nation in ways that few could have imagined. The promises of economic prosperity and greater sovereignty that were supposed to come with leaving the EU have failed to materialize for many. Instead, the UK has been caught in a web of trade difficulties, rising costs, and fractured relationships with neighboring countries. Political leaders have been unable to present a coherent vision for the future, and the public feels betrayed, left without any clear direction. This sense of political instability has only intensified as different factions within the government battle for power. The constant reshuffling of leadership and lack of clear policies on key issues like healthcare, immigration, and the economy have left many with little confidence in the government's ability to lead effectively. People are beginning to feel as though their concerns and needs are not being heard, and the disillusionment is growing. 4. Concerns for public safety and crime. As crime rates continue to rise in certain parts of the UK, a growing number of people are expressing concerns over their personal safety. From petty theft to violent crime, many communities are feeling the effects of rising criminal activity. There is a sense that public safety is being compromised, and many no longer feel secure in their own neighborhoods. The police force, already stretched thin due to limited resources and rising crime rates, is struggling to keep up. Response times have slowed, and in some areas, visible policing has become a rarity. Communities that were once considered safe are now facing escalating levels of crime, making it hard to ignore the fact that the UK is dealing with an urgent public safety crisis. The government's response to these issues has often been criticized as insufficient. While crime rates climb, politicians seem more focused on political infighting and ideological battles than on addressing the needs of citizens who are growing fearful of walking down their own streets. People are beginning to ask, why pay taxes for a police force that seems unable to provide adequate protection? Crime is not just a personal issue, it has social implications that ripple throughout communities. When people feel unsafe, it erodes trust in public institutions and makes it harder for communities to thrive. For many, the question becomes, is it time to leave a country where personal safety feels like an afterthought, and the response to crime seems slow and ineffective? 5. Social divides and growing inequality. In recent years, the social fabric of the UK has become more fragmented, and deepening inequality is a major factor contributing to this divide. What was once a nation that prided itself on offering equal opportunities for all is now grappling with rising wealth disparities, social tensions, and a growing sense of disillusionment, particularly among the middle and lower classes. The stark contrast between the rich and the poor has never been more evident. The wealthiest in society seem to continue prospering, their fortunes growing even in times of economic crisis, while millions of ordinary Britons struggle to make ends meet. A 2023 report revealed that the top 10% of earners hold nearly half of the country's wealth, while vast numbers of people rely on food banks to survive. The rich continue to benefit from tax breaks, loopholes, and preferential policies, while the majority face the harsh realities of an unrelenting cost of living. Cultural tensions have exacerbated these divides. The political climate in the UK has become toxic, with issues like Brexit, immigration, and identity politics driving wedges between communities. This climate of division has caused a breakdown in trust and understanding, and for many, it's become unbearable. When communities feel disconnected and marginalized, it's hard to envision a future where everyone has a fair shot at success. Many people are looking to other nations where equality and unity are prioritized. Countries like New Zealand, with its focus on community cohesion and diversity, or Germany, where robust social welfare systems ensure that the most vulnerable are supported, stand in stark contrast to the UK's growing fractures. For those seeking a more inclusive and equitable environment, the UK is increasingly feeling like a place of division rather than opportunity. 6. Struggles with healthcare. The UK's National Health Service, NHS, once the pride of the nation, is facing an unprecedented crisis. Despite being touted as one of the world's best healthcare systems, the NHS is burdened by underfunding, staff shortages, and overwhelming demand. As a result, patients are experiencing longer waiting times, reduced access to essential services, and an overall decline in the quality of care they receive. The healthcare crisis is particularly acute in rural areas and smaller towns, where medical professionals are in short supply and facilities are stretched to their limits. In urban centers, overcrowded hospitals and understaffed clinics have become commonplace, leading to frustration and anxiety among patients and healthcare workers alike. What was once a system that prided itself on providing universal healthcare to all citizens is now a system that many fear will collapse under its own weight. Long waiting lists for surgeries, specialists, and even routine appointments are just the beginning of the problem. Mental health services, already underfunded, are stretched beyond capacity, with patients often waiting months or even years for support. The government's inability to adequately address the NHS's issues has led to a lack of confidence in the system and left many wondering if the healthcare system they once relied on can still meet their needs. As healthcare becomes a growing concern for many, citizens are turning to other countries where the healthcare system is not under so much strain. Nations like Germany and France offer strong public health systems with shorter waiting times and higher quality services, drawing those who can no longer afford to wait months for the care they need. For those looking for certainty in their health and well-being, the NHS is no longer the beacon of hope it once was. 7. High taxes. Taxes have long been a point of contention, and they have steadily become more burdensome over the years. Citizens are asked to pay taxes at an ever-increasing rate, yet many feel that they're not getting the benefits they should be receiving in return. The issue isn't just about the level of taxes but about how inefficiently the money is being spent. Income taxes and national insurance contributions take up a significant chunk of what people earn. For the average worker, this can mean that a large portion of their paycheck disappears before it even hits the bank. The UK government has long relied on taxation to fund public services, but with a growing number of services underfunded or struggling to keep up with demand, it's hard to see where the money is going. The real frustration comes from the sense of injustice that many feel. The government continually raises taxes, promising better public services and a better quality of life for its citizens. But the reality is very different. High taxes have led to little tangible improvement for the majority, with many areas of public life deteriorating year after year. At the same time, the rich, who seem to always have access to loopholes and favorable policies, pay far less of their income in taxes, further adding to the sense of inequality and unfairness. 8. Lack of opportunities and limited career growth. The job market in the UK has become increasingly frustrating for many workers, particularly those in industries that were once seen as stable. From entry-level positions to mid-career professionals, many are finding that opportunities for advancement are limited or non-existent. The stagnation in wages and career progression is compounded by the growing insecurity of temporary contracts, zero-hour jobs, and a rise in part-time employment, which makes it difficult for many to achieve any real career stability. For those trying to build a future in the UK, the lack of opportunity can feel suffocating. The opportunities that once existed for upward mobility are now often just promises that never materialize. The job market is highly competitive, but for many, that competition is in vain, with the same entry-level roles being taken up by an ever-growing number of applicants. Even after years of experience, it seems that there are fewer and fewer avenues to climb the career ladder. Many people, particularly younger generations, are seeing fewer opportunities in the UK. More and more are turning to other countries, where the job market offers greater potential for growth and development. Countries like Canada, the United States, and Australia have long been known for their dynamic economies and robust job markets. In these nations, hard work is more likely to be rewarded with career progression and financial stability. The UK's stagnant job market, by contrast, leaves many feeling like they are stuck in a dead end, unable to escape the limitations of a system that offers few real opportunities. 9. Better opportunities abroad. As the UK faces its mounting challenges, more and more people are looking beyond the nation's borders for a brighter future. The allure of better job prospects, higher wages, and a higher standard of living in countries like Canada, Australia, and the United States is undeniable. These countries offer dynamic economies, a variety of job opportunities, and a quality of life that many Britons feel is unattainable in their own country. For workers in fields like technology, finance, healthcare, and education, overseas opportunities seem far more attractive. In cities like Toronto, Berlin, or Sydney, professionals can earn salaries that are not only higher but also come with better benefits, more flexible working conditions, and a healthier work-life balance. This is a stark contrast to the UK, where many feel trapped in low-paying, insecure jobs with little room for advancement. People are also drawn to the promise of a better lifestyle, cleaner environments, less pollution, shorter commutes, and more family-friendly policies. Countries like Australia and New Zealand are particularly attractive for those seeking to raise their families in a more relaxed and less stressful environment. These nations also tend to offer more affordable healthcare, better public services, and greater focus on quality of life. The UK, despite its historical status as a land of opportunity, now seems to offer fewer prospects for those seeking a brighter future. The world is full of countries that not only offer jobs but a chance to build a fulfilling life, free from the constraints and struggles that seem to define the UK. 10. The struggles within the education system. The state of education in the UK has long been a cause for concern, but the problems have only become more pronounced in recent years. From overcrowded classrooms and underfunded schools to the pressure of standardized testing, the UK's education system is falling short of providing the kind of quality education that children need to succeed in today's world. Classroom sizes continue to grow, and with fewer resources available, teachers are left struggling to meet the needs of their students. The lack of individual attention, coupled with an increasing focus on exams rather than holistic learning, has left many parents frustrated. Children in the UK are being trained to pass tests, rather than being prepared for life beyond the classroom. There's little room for creativity, critical thinking, or developing the real-world skills that will help them thrive as adults. For those looking for alternatives, countries like Finland and Canada offer progressive education systems that focus on child development, problem-solving, and fostering creativity. These nations have put students at the center of their educational models, providing a learning environment that encourages exploration and growth. It's no wonder that many British families are seeking better opportunities abroad to ensure their children receive a high-quality education that prepares them for the challenges of the future.